Today I'm going to go over with you how to choose a fishing kayak. There are some things that you need to look at. Some kayaks are better than others for certain things. In my case, I'm here in Florida. There's a lot of saltwater fishing. Sometimes you head out to the Gulf. Most of the time I hang out in the intercoastal water. So if you're in that similar sort of situation, I have the perfect kayak for you. Stay tuned. Alright, now I have here a 13.5-foot tandem kayak. I picked this thing up from West Marine for about 500 bucks. Sometimes you can find them as low as $329. Now I was looking at the Prowlers and similar sort of kayaks, all in the 13-foot range for kayak fishing. Now originally this kayak did not come with any sort of fishing instruments on it, no rod holders, anything like that. But what I did see that turned me on to this kayak, and you'll see that it compares to all the other, fishing kayaks or kayaks that are ready to go for fishing and are rigged that way, is notice the hull. Okay, the hull is completely open. There's no storage compartments. All right, so we have seat, we have open hull, we have another seat here. Okay, we have a seat over here, and then we have this whole huge open space over here. And this is a huge advantage over any of the other fishing kayaks, because when you're out there and you're fishing, the last thing you want to do is have all these inaccessible places on your kayak where you have to like paddle back to shore to reach into them. Okay, so a big open hull kind of puts this more in a boat class than a kayak class, and it just makes it really easy to reach for your gear. It makes it easy to put a whole bunch of stuff in there, coolers, whatever you want. Usually there's nothing that I put in a kayak that I wouldn't mind getting wet or that isn't already waterproof. Okay, so having these huge sealed off areas to me is just killing the little bit of real estate that you have in there. So you might want to look at getting a kayak like this and a tandem kayak and converting it into a fishing kayak. It's a really good choice in my opinion. Now, one thing that I almost forgot to mention is the hull. Okay, on this particular kayak we have what is called a tri-hull, okay, where we have one hull on the left, then we have a really sharp keel in the middle, and then we have another flat hull on the other side. And what this does is the keel allows you to really slice through that water and travel really efficiently, and the flat bottom on the sides is really super stable, so you can't really flip this thing. I mean, you really would have to try. So that's another thing you're looking at for a kayak. The sharper that keel and the longer the kayak is, the easier it's going to slice through the water. But at the same time, the wider it is, the more stable it's going to be. Now, the most basic thing that you can do when you buy a tandem kayak like this to make it fishing ready is really simple. You just add a fishing rod holder. Okay, I have one on this side, I have one on the other side. These are actually really easy to install. You can watch all sorts of videos on YouTube, or they come with instructions. If you're handy with tools and things like that, you'll be just fine. So a couple of fishing rod holders, a seat, and this is already a fishing kayak with a huge amount of room in the hull. Okay, now another reason I picked this kayak is the weight capacity, and out of all the 13.5-foot kayaks that I saw, this one has the biggest weight capacity because it has such a big beam. Alright, and this thing holds about 550 pounds, which for a big guy like me with all my gear and stuff, it just makes it really comfortable. Now you'll notice here that I have sort of a side mount. This is for a trolling motor, and I'll talk about this in a different video. Okay, so we'll kind of leave that alone for now. But I just wanted to give you my take on what makes a really good fishing kayak and how you can make it yourself, and have this whole huge open hull design that you can't really find in any other kayaks that are pre-built for fishing. Alright, check out my other videos. Thanks for watching Nightmare on Fish Street.